I wrote the story about my life over the many years. I wanted my children, our children, to know their heritage. Never talked much about my background to our children. They knew where I came from. I would say things like that, but I wouldn't tell them the whole story of my life. You just don't do that to your offspring. I didn't know anything, like I said, till the German troops marched in, because at that time I didn't know anything was wrong. My dad didn't let us go out much unless we went with our mother. She was Lutheran and she was blue-eyed and blonde. She looked like the Germans would want people to look like. They want everybody to look like them. She was somewhat of an arrogant lady who'd insist we'd go out and we could go anywhere where she took us, because my dad wouldn't go out because he was Jewish and he was afraid, I guess, of getting arrested, which I didn't understand, you know. I was only 12 years old. We didn't have anyone escort us to the train station or anything, because my parents didn't want to draw attention to that we're leaving the country. My parents said, oh, you don't have to take anything with us because you're coming back on Sunday. We didn't even say goodbye to anybody. I remember my parents just walked out of the apartment with us and we got on a train and left, because that had to be awful for them. I'm sorry. Even today, I can't imagine, like, you live here and you walk away and you leave everything. You know, that had to be, especially for my mother, devastating. I never really studied about the United States, didn't know anything about the United States. When we came over here, in my own mind, I thought there were still cowboys and Indians over here. The first night we were here was a Friday night. My mother had a black cat, and we walked downtown, and the cat was on a leash. You could tell you were refugees. We were dressed like refugees. Of course, at the time, we didn't realize that. I had my lederhosen on, you know, short, and boys 14 years old. Over here, everybody wears long pants. My dad said, unless you speak English, don't speak at all, because people might get mad at you knowing that you're of Austrian descent. So we were walking down 5th Street with a cat on a leash and me in my lederhosen, thinking nobody would think we're foreign. Although I went to Langfelder, I really didn't make friends. People, I don't know, people that are just like kids nowadays, they're very cliquish. They find their own friends. And because us speaking broken English and my having a hard time understanding most people, they were always nice and pleasant, but never friendly. So. Before I graduated from high school, most of my fellow students, men students, had enlisted in the service. I attempted to enlist, but I wasn't accepted because at that time I wasn't a citizen of the United States. Well, I couldn't wait till I was 18 years old and be drafted because I figured if I'm drafted, I might be lucky enough to go back to Austria and fight the Germans, and I'd be close to home and get. That's how I thought I was going to get back home. And I learned that they didn't want to ship me back to Europe because they thought if I'm captured, the reasoning would be that I'd probably be shot as a traitor because I came from Austria and I'm fighting the Austrians. So that's when I realized I'm never going to make back to Austria because from there they ship in the South Pacific. So that finally realized, my gosh, this is going to be my country. I'm going to fight for it and probably be here forever. I was at Purdue at the Union Building. I was eating and somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Oh, how are you?" And I only met her a couple of times before. I didn't remember her. But you know, when you see a pretty girl, she taps you on the shoulder, I acted like I knew her. Also, she told me she's going to college at St. Francis. And I said, "Oh, I'll give you a call sometime." And so one day I went over there, and of course there were nothing but nuns ran the school, and the one nun came to the door, and I didn't know who to ask for because I didn't even know her name. And so I just told the nun, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so nervous that I don't remember the young lady's name, but she's from Springfield, Illinois." Well, the nun kind of looked at me suspiciously, but eventually she said, Mary Langfelder, Mary Dunham. I said, "Oh yeah, that's her," because I didn't know it was her or not till I saw her, because I didn't know her name. She did bring her down, and she came to the door, and we said hello to each other, and I told her that I would like to ask out one day, and that was kind of difficult for me because I really didn't know her, but I fell in love with her, and here we are 59 years later.